Tracy here. I completed my art journal, so I thought I would do a flip through of it. But first off, I want to wish everybody a very happy new year, a happy 2021, and I hope you all had a wonderful Merry Christmas. We are in lockdown here in my province, so hopefully it just stays at the 14 days that they predicted, and I hope you are all well, and I hope you are all safe. So most of this art journal was inspired by challenges that my friends and I put on. Caroline and I, we first started, and then my friend Stephanie, her and I did some challenges, and then my friends Lynn, Sharon, Denise, and Deborah and I, then we just started giving each other challenges, and actually Denise started a Facebook group of just us, and we post a challenge. Well, there's no set time, but we post a challenge. Sometimes it's once a week, sometimes it's like once a month, depends on what we've been all doing. And one of us, we will post a challenge and then we'll all do it. So I'll share the pages and what the challenges were. My first page was in November 2014, and my last page was in June 2020. And those are the only pages that are in some type of order. Jump around in the years, which is really odd for me because I like everything to be like in order. So it's kind of funny that I missed pages and then I went back and filled them in. So there are actually 50 double page layouts in this book. So we'll start with my first one, and this is my very first one. I also have some process videos that I had posted when I did some of these, and I don't know if this was one of the process videos. This might have just been a process blog post. But this one was Grateful with Autumn Colors. This is the first one. This is the first one. I have another art journal that I've done. Actually, I'm working on 2 other ones right now, but I had an art journal before this one, and I don't know if I did a video on it, but anyway, that one was more with papers and coloring and that type of stuff. It didn't have any really mixed mediums in it. So this is where I started playing around more with some of the mixed mediums. And the funny thing is this here, this was drywall compound because I didn't have any of the texture paste. So this is the first one, and I even put a picture of my family in here. And I look at this and I'm like, oh wow, you can tell this was my first page. It's not that bad, but it's not that good either. And then this one here, I put little sticky notes on to remind me who inspired me besides the themes or the challenges. And this challenge, Caroline and I did this one, and it was a winter theme, and I was inspired by one of Vicky P. That's how, I can't even say her name, but that's how you spell her name. One of her videos. And if you're an art journaler, most of you I'm sure know who Vicky P is. And so this one was a winter theme, and I had fun with this one because I had the inks, I had the Tim Holtz tissue paper under there, and then I had some stencils, and I was playing with some stencils. So this one, I really liked this one when I did it. Looking now, I'm like, oh, I do some highlights, I do this, but you know, that's one thing with art journaling, or with anything really, is as you go along, you learn more, and you know how your materials work more. Was Love or Valentine's, and again, I used the drywall compound on here, and these are drywall tape. You can tell I do home improvements to have all these kind of things around the house. So that's that one. And then this one here, I just love this page. I loved it when I did it, and I still love it. And this one was a lot of work. And this one was just to use a girl image. So what I did was I stamped her directly on here, and I heat embossed her. I might have a process video on this one, I'm not sure. I heat embossed her and then colored her in with my colored pencil crayons and my watercolor pencil crayons. And the reason I did that, embossed it, was I wasn't sure if it would bleed through, like past the lines, so I wanted them like inside the lines. And then here, the water droplets, that's a stencil. And I don't know how many times I colored these in, and there's like 2 or 3 colors in each raindrop. Yeah, I'm a little particular, aren't I? So that one was just to use a girl image. And then So these ones for like 2015, and then this one jumped to like 2019. And this challenge was friends and mark making. So what I had done before was I early on I learned that all the artists said when you have a stamp or if you have a stencil, you clean it off on a blank page. And that's what I did here. And then I stopped. I didn't use this one because the colors weren't right, or I didn't like that the page was messy. And it's funny because most artists say it's hard to work on a blank page, whereas with me it was hard to work on a page with stuff on it already. So what I did was I added this tissue paper with all these hearts on it. And I'm like, yep, I still don't like it. And then when Denise had said the mark making, I'm like, oh, okay. So what I did was I added hearts with a stencil here. And then all these strips are either washi tape or my mark making. I did a whole bunch of different mark making. Kind of like dangles, but not quite. And then the friendship comes in from the saying on here. And then this one was... yeah, this one was 2015. This one was to use our delusion sprays. This is when Caroline and I were first starting to get into mixed media. I cut the lady out. I colored her up and cut her out. She was a stamp. And colored her with my water pencil crayons. So far, I'm surprised that I actually remember some of the stuff I did on here. Just my friend and I got together. This wasn't a challenge. We just got together. So what we did was we just added a little bit of stamps. And I don't really like this page. It's like the pinks. I don't like the pinks. And I had colored, we each colored this girl up and put her on our page. And then... which I think she's cute. I like the girl, but I just don't care for the background. But when I did my page, my next page, and you'll see it, when I did my next page, it all bled through. All these purples are not supposed to be here. They bled through. And not only did they bleed through onto my background, they also bled through onto my girl, and she looked awful. So I re-stamped her, recolored her, and then put her on top of the original one that's underneath. And here is the one. It was all this spray. All this spray seeped to this next page. And just for the record, this is a Moleskine art journal. So this one was Halloween, and I used the Delusion sprays, and I may have a video on this one, I'm not sure. But I remember I put a plate down and I sprayed it like all the purple. And then these are my fingers. When I tried to lift off, I guess my nail drag the paint in, and I'm like, oh. And then here my other finger dragged the paint in because it wasn't dry yet. This page was actually inspired by advertisement in the mall. I was in the mall and I seen this kind of scene like that, and I'm like, oh, I really like that. I'd like to do that for an art journal page. So that's how this one came about. And then my kids are playing video games if you hear any yelling. And this one here is Christmas and to use a collage. So the background here is a napkin. I just had to piece it together. This is a Prima girl, and I paper pieced her dress. And then the next one, did I just do this one on my own? Yeah, I just did this one on my own. This wasn't a challenge. I just wanted to play because I cut up all these little pieces of paper, and I had all these strips, and I thought, oh, I'll put them on her dress. So her dress is full of strips of scrapbooking papers. And I wanted to use my black gesso. So that was this one, 2016. So that one was not a challenge piece. And this one wasn't a challenge piece either. But my girlfriend and I, Deborah, we just wanted to play with our art stuff. So she came over and we were just spritzing. And she may have seen an art page like this. And we tried to recreate it. I'm thinking that's what happened, because like this one was in, when was this one? 2016. So that was a while ago. So I really like how this page turned out. I like the colors. I like the splotches that we added. I love the hearts because I do love hearts. And then this one here I just played on my own. I like this saying. So then I just, very simple page, but I like the impact of it, the contrast. I like a lot of contrast, so I like this page for that one. I don't really like this one. This was one Stephanie and I put on, and it was just a fall. And I thought, oh, well, I'll play with my delusions and I spritzed, and I'm not a big orange color. I don't really care for oranges too much. So that's what I did here. And I think the reason I don't like it too is I should probably blend in this big block here, and I'd probably like it a little bit better. Maybe not. But you know what? I can tell you right now, it's probably not going to be happening because this was 2016 and I haven't done it yet, so I don't think I will. And then my next challenge was a Christmas song or a Christmas carol. So that's where we got Walking in a Winter Wonderland. And again, I used a lot of the Tim Holtz tissue tape, I think he calls it, but the tissue paper in the rolls. Easy way to have a nice little background. And then what I did, I don't know if you can tell here, but with a stencil, I had a stencil of trees, and I put it very lightly. I did some texture paste on the background as well, but I don't know if you can pick that up. And then also what I did, which I probably shouldn't have, is I added some fake snow and added some sparkle in it, but it keeps sticking. It sticks to the tree. As you can see, it picked up some paint here. And then this one, I have little sticky notes, so I remember who inspired me or where I came up with this idea. But this one again was, which one was this one? I guess I just did it on my own because I wanted to do it, I guess, because I don't see, I tried to write a list of the challenges and that, and I don't think this was a challenge, so I think I just wanted to play with it. So this one was inspired by Christy Tomlinson, who, again, if you art journal or if you like, she does these really cool girls in her art journal pages, then you know who she is. What I did was I wanted to play with the black again, but the black gesso just seemed so, well, black, if that makes sense. I wanted some color in it. So what I did was not only did I do the black gesso, then I also added some blue ink to it. And I don't know if you can tell, but sometimes you can pick up a little bit of the blue ink. But before I did anything, I added some of the drywall tape on here. And then I added some tissue paper on here, so it's got some dimensions, got little crinkly bits to it. And then I added some snowflake with some more texture paste. And then, so this one was fun. I like this page. I really like this page. And then this one here, this challenge was to use circles, your favorite color, and texture. And so you see my circles. My favorite color is more of a burgundy color, which is more this color. I thought this would turn out, but it's as I was adding it, it was getting lighter and lighter, but it's more this color here. And then texture, I used, I want to say it's Vicky Bouton's texture paste, or I think it's called texture paste. I think that's what she calls it. Or, no, it's right here. What is it called? Oh, she just calls it a glaze. That's what that one is. So this one was fun to do. And then this one I just did on my own, and I'm not happy with it. Well, here's the reasons why I'm not happy. I love the colors. I love this little girl image. And what I was trying here, and again, this is what you do with art journaling or anything. You just keep playing and experimenting until you find something you like. So I wanted to add a lot of dimension because I had seen an artist, and I can't remember who it was right now, and she added a lot of dimension to her work. So this lace here was a rust, a really dark rust. I remember I had to add, I don't know how many layers of gesso to cover that up. So what I did is I added the gauze, and I added the lace, and I added, these are the texture paste, but it has the beads in it. So I added all that kind of stuff, and I added some die cuts, and I added all that, and then I painted, and I spritzed, and I just love the color of the background. But what I don't like is she's floating. She looks like she should be like grounded. And I did add some of the beads here, but it's not enough. So if I ever want to go back and touch up all my art journal pages, I'd put something for her to stand on so she's more grounded. We had to use tissue paper, and we had to use embossing paste. So this one was a pain to do for the fact that I added the tissue paper, the Tim Holtz tissue paper in the background, and I added the embossing paste, little areas, and then I spritzed it, and it didn't dry because I used a spritz, not an ink. No matter what I did, I tried to dry it with hair blower, didn't work, or a heat gun, whatever, it didn't work. I also wiped it all down, did a fixative on it, still didn't dry. Like, I did it one day, and then the next day we drove to camp, which is like 2 hours away, and I waited till the next day, and it still did not dry. And I'm like, this thing is never going to dry. So I just took a paper towel and wiped the rest off, and if anything, it stained it. It really didn't have the color I wanted. So this one was kind of like a fail, but not really, because I learned you do not spritz on top of the tissue paper because it doesn't want to dry. Now I had already done some other pages before I did this one. So spritzing all this brown on here soaked through to a lot of my finished pages. And this is one of them. It looks like it's poop on the ice, but it's not. It went through. And this one, obviously, I had done beforehand or I would have fixed it. But this one, I'm trying to remember. I know I wrote this poem because it reminds me of when I was a little girl. I used to skate on a pond. And it was so cool to skate on a pond. Or skate, our neighbor had a rink and they'd let us go skating at night. They had floodlights and everything. It was fun. I love to skate. So anyway, if I'm not mistaken, I might have made a tag for Stephanie, and I liked it so much that I recreated it and then wrote my poem down here. So there's that one. And then this one is like, I just love this one, as I told you at the beginning of the video. I just think it's so pretty. I like the contrast. I just love it. But what inspired me to do this one was, well, we had a challenge. We had a challenge to do black background in space. And all the other ladies did like space, like outer space, whereas I used my space in here in the wording, which I do sometimes. But what inspired me to do this one was there was a phone case. It looks nothing like this. The background looks a little close to what the phone case looked like, but and these are stamps, and then I just turned the stamp the other way to make them facing different ways. But yeah, this is like one of my favorite pages. This challenge was to spread a little glitter wherever you go. So I just changed the saying to sprinkle love wherever you go, and she's sprinkling the hearts, and I added glitter to the hearts. Some of the hearts have glitter on. So there you go. Look at it, bled through on this page too. So many. Went through so many pages. Then this one was to use bright, bold colors. I put this challenge on because usually I like contrast, but I usually don't use like bold colors, like bright pinks and bright oranges. So I'm like, I'm going to challenge myself. So I challenge myself as well as my friends. So these are, again, I think the Delusions, I always say Delusionals, but it's Delusions paints, and they're sprays, I'm pretty sure. And then these letters are just stickers, all of them. And then I added some stamps that I did, and I attached them. So there's that one. And then this one was a challenge, and it was to use a female image and something that represents you. So I used one of these cute little gorgeous girls. And what represents me is I love to read and I love to write. I should have added some art journaling supplies in here too, some paintbrushes or something. But so that's what I used for my challenge. And what I really like the background. I like all the ink and all the edges of inks. I just like how that turned out. And then I made her a little book. See? It has even pages on it. So, oh, and I wanted to say one thing I learned about doing the art journal page, this one here that I like but I don't like. Where is it? The bulky one. This one here is, I want to keep my pages as flat as I can, so I don't think I'll be adding any more big bulky things to my pages. I don't know why I just thought of that, but I just thought I'd share. This was actually the very first art journal challenge that my group of friends and I did. And it was happiness and magazine, pieces of a magazine or something, I think it was. Magazine and happiness, yes. So I don't really have magazines, so I actually went through the flyers and I noticed there was a lot of clocks in one of the sales flyers, so I cut out all the clocks, and this is how I came to make this background. And then happiness, I have in my wording here, happiness is spending time doing what you love. And then this girl is a stamp that I colored up. But, and then I did a lot of spritzing, and I did some masking on that one. And then this one, the challenge was bird case, succulents, and a quote. So the bird cage is the Tim Holtz one. This is I kind of like how this background turned out. It kind of turned out pretty cool with the different colors and that. And I spritzed it and I did some stamping. And I think I did this one at camp, actually, when I was at camp. So the bird cage and the birds, I think, are Tim Holtz. And then this one might be even a Stamping Up punch, I'm thinking. And then the succulents are actually that wall art. You can get wall art. I usually do the wall art and put it in my writing journal, but it went well with this one. And then the saying, a caged bird sings not because it's happy, but because it cries to be free. That's just something I came up with. And this one, oh, okay, this is another one of my favorite pages. And this one was inspired, or more, not even inspired, I more or less copied it because I just loved it so much, was a Susan Nordgren, and hers was on canvas. So I had to do a little bit different things because hers was on canvas and I wanted to keep all my art in my book. So, but this was a challenge, and this challenge was love and strips. So I have the word love stamped here, and the strips are all these different stripped stamps that I have. Then I ripped the pages here and then added some paper behind it with the same color as the heart here. And actually I have another heart that I made and I didn't like it as much, so I redid it and I did this one here. And then what I also did, and this is a tip I got from one of my new people I'm following on, I've done a couple free art classes with her, is she had a piece of art and she made copies of it, like just to use in her other art. So what I did was, my other one I had, my other heart that looks like this, I actually took pictures of it so I can add it into my new art because I love this heart so much. So what I did was I actually added it in my new art journal, and I'll show you that at another time. And then this one was Steampunk Snowman. We were supposed to do a Steampunk Snowman. And everybody else, it was I think it was, the challenge was done in the winter. I never did it in the winter. I did it more in the spring, I think. And I was over winter, so what I did was I made this paper, and I made these different colored papers for the background of the Steampunk Snowman, and I wanted it to be more bright. I wanted it to be more spring-like, so. And then embrace your different. Well, the Steampunk Snowman's a little different because one, it's a steampunk snowman, like how different is that? And then two, my snowman is brighter colors, more spring-like colors, and then I put little wings on him as well. Buttons and stencils, that was this challenge. And most of the other ladies used real buttons, but like I said, I'm trying to keep mine as flat as I can. And I had this button paper, so I just cut out all the buttons and then adhered them to the corners. And the stencil, I love this background. I just love it. I think I gessoed the background. Then I added Vicky Bouton crayons, I think. And then, or Tim Holtz, one of the other ones. Anyway, watercolor crayons I added. And then I used a stencil, and I put the stencil on top, and then I took a baby wipe and removed some of the color. So I love this background. And then this here with all the little pieces in, I was actually at my girlfriend's camp when I did this. So I had limited supplies too, which is always fun because it's always a challenge. So I had some acetate, and I drew and cut out this mason jar and then made it look like it's a jar. Lots of people have mason jars in their craft rooms to hold their supplies. So that was that one. And this was a challenge. This was a couple challenges that I did. One was Stephanie had asked us to use this in the challenge, this saying. It's from Moulin Rouge, which I've never seen the movie. I started watching it and I couldn't get into it, so yeah. I'm one of the few I hear. So anyway, it was to use this saying. The other one was rainbow colors and stencils. So this was the rainbow colors, the background and the stencil. And this girl here, I thought she was cute because she would go with Moulin Rouge if, at least I think so, if I would have watched the whole movie. I wanted to do something for Pride Week, so this is what I did. And this one here, I really don't like this one for some reason. This one was a white background and cluttered. I think that's what it was. Something about white background and cluttered. And it started as a white background. I'm like, oh, this is too boring. So then I added the background, and the clouds are white anyway. But it's just, I don't know. It's not my favorite. But I really wanted to use this stamp set because I bought this stamp set, I can't even tell you how many years ago, and I wanted to use it. So I used it. So there's that one. It's done in the books. And then this one here, I was on, this has to be something about canvas. I remember that. Color and canvas. Okay, so what my friend wanted us to do, I think, was to actually do a canvas piece. And like I've said, I don't know how many times already, I want to keep all our challenges in my one book. So I cut a piece of canvas out and colored it up. And then the colors, this colored idea came from Catherine Crane. She had little, like, smaller pieces of work, 4 different ones, I think. And I just loved how the colors came about. Whereas this one, my colors didn't, like, mesh as well. They kind of got a little muddy here. But I did have fun making all these circles, using different things, like, to make these circles. Like, this was a paper towel roll. This was the top from a washi tape container. This, I think, was a stencil. It was just fun just doodling and making all these different things in here. So this one was fun. So this challenge here was Doodles and Dragonflies. Now, for the dragonfly, I used a Prima Girl, and I pieced her dress together. And then for her back here, I did the Tim Holtz Dragonfly Wings. And what I did was I used a piece of vellum behind there. If you can see how it's muted, the color is a little bit softer behind the wings. And then the doodles, I liked the flowers that Mary Oakes had on her page. Now, I don't know if what she used was, if she drew them or if they were a stamp. I'm not sure, but I really liked how they were, so I doodled them and I drew them and then colored them in. And then this one was Frolicking Fairies, and what I did was I just played with the background, and I think I gessoed first. I can't even remember now. And then these girls I seen online, they were Lavinia stamps. I might have pronounced that wrong. And so that's what, these ones aren't stamps. I tried to recreate her stamps because I just love how it looked. And then I found this little saying on the internet that said, the difference between fairies and you is that your wings are hidden in your heart. I thought that was really sweet. And I love the boldness. I love the background and how the black boldness just of the fairies just pop. And then this one, I remember I did this one at camp. I must have had her already colored up. This one was embossing and glitter. So I was at camp, so well, for one thing, you can't put your book through the machine. Like, I couldn't put it through an embossing machine, and I didn't have my embossing powders with me, so I had to use old school. So I used like a dad pen and stencils. So underneath, I don't know if you can pick that up. It's hard to pick it up, but I have put the stencil underneath and then embossed it that way. Maybe you can see it on this side more. Maybe not. But I was doing it at camp, so you work with what you have, right? And then the sparkle is the washi tape and then her dress. And this opens up, but I haven't put anything in it. And let's be honest, I'm not going to. It's like, this book is done. I probably won't be playing around with it anymore. Unusual background. So what I did was I wanted to play, I was at camp again, and I wanted to play with the alcohol inks. I've seen so many people make these beautiful flowers with the inks and just making the inks flow a certain way. They come up with these beautiful flowers. So what I did was I gessoed, because I know you usually do it on a photo type or a glossy paper, and I didn't have any at camp. So I gessoed the page, and then I brought the canister of air, like you do to clean your keyboard. So, and that's how I pushed around the ink like that. So that's that, and then I just did some stencils in that back there. So that was my unusual, use something unusual for your background. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, you know, I can define it better if I drew with black marker. I could define this better, but will I? Probably not, but I could if I really wanted to. And then this one was a fun one. This one was like, when was this? 2018 this one was done. And the challenge was Dog Days of Summer and Saran Wrap. So Dog Days of Summer is hot, hot days in the summer. And the Saran Wrap, what I did was first I painted the background and then I laid the Saran Wrap on it, and it gave neat little texture throughout the page. And then I crumpled some Saran Wrap and I made the clouds. And then lastly, I actually used Saran Wrap. I painted the Saran Wrap and put it down here to look like the water. And I think it's turned out kind of cool because you can see I put her down before I adhered the Saran Wrap, and you can actually see her legs through the Saran Wrap. So it's like she's really in the water. So that one was fun. This one here is not my favorite page, and the reason being is I have too many colors all over the place and they're not blended well, and if they'd even blend well, this is not one of my favorite pages. And this challenge was bold and butterflies, and I think I had other bold ones, so I wanted to try something different, and I did some doodles in that. But yeah, this one's not my favorite. But this one's a fun page. This one was, I think it was games. I think that's what this one was. Oh, fun and games with a splash of gold. So this one was very detailed. I did this one at camp actually. So I have search words at camp because I like to do search words. So I took a page from the search words and I used it for the background, and I picked the F words one because that's I have an F word that's one of my favorite words actually, because I think I use it too much. And then what I did was I inked it, and I also had puzzles at camp, old puzzles at camp. So what I did was, they're too thick to put in my journal. Like I said, I'm trying to keep it more flat. So what I did was I actually peeled the puzzle apart. So it had, I just had a couple layers of it. So then I added those down here and inked those up. And then these little tiles are actually, I just printed them off the internet. The gold is just these here. I just did some strips of washi tape in gold because, like I said, I was at camp. I used what I had. And then the saying I just came up with on my own: life is like a game, have fun, play fair, and be nice. And here she's playing hopscotch. So there's that. Then this one here, again, this is not one of my favorite pages, and as pretty as the page is, I think the colors are just too stripy. Like I don't like that they're not blended well, and that they're lines like that. But besides that, what was this one? Use glaze, glitter, stencils, and stamps. So there's glitter here. I don't know if I used glaze at all. I don't see any, but I did some stencils and I did embossing paste. And then this one actually, I did the same day as the other alcohol ink one. I was playing around with it, and this one was fire and ice. That's what this challenge was. So I did this one at the lake too when we were at our camp. And all I did was add the alcohol inks up at the top and at the bottom. And then I drew in these little trees along here and then stamped this. And then I colored in beauty. I didn't have it colored in before. It was empty words and it kind of got lost. So I just colored in the beauty. Then this one was, what was this one? Silver golden with some texture. Now this one's funny because I did this page a long time ago. Not this actual page, but these funny flowers back here. I tried, is it string art? I think they call it. And you put your string in ink and then you just wrap your string around, close your book and pull the string out, and it leaves these really cool patterns. Most people get a flower pattern. I don't even want to say what some of these look like. So I just, this page was left with these flowers on it for so long. I did another page and it looked like hip bones that were doing this technique, but that one I covered over. So this here, I'm like, okay, well, they can be kind of like a funky kind of flower. And so I did the Alice in Wonderland theme. My daughter loves Alice in Wonderland. And then, let me see, silver and gold. I have some gold here. I have some silver in other areas. I thought I did. I don't remember, don't see where I did them, but so that was that one. And this one, I think at one time, I did that bokeh technique, and I didn't like it. I think that's what it was. So I left that page empty. So I guess I did work on a few pages that I didn't like and went back to, but they're very challenging for me to do. I need a blank page, I guess. So anyways, I was just playing with color on this one, and this one was a copycat. And I tried to look on my Pinterest to see who I copycatted this from, like what artist I kind of tried to get inspiration from, but I can't find this one, so I have no idea who I got the inspiration from, but I can tell you it probably doesn't look anything like theirs. But I did have fun with this one once I added the colors, and then I did some stenciling where you rub off the color behind it or add the color to it. This one, I think I took the color off. This one I added the color on, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember. It was a long time. I had fun finding things to like do the circles with. I think this might be a lid from a washi tape holder, and then I just doodled the flowers. So this one was actually fun to do. It might not be my favorite, but it was a fun one to do. I remember that. Then this one also, I'm pretty sure I saw this and I wanted to recreate it, and I can't find it. I cannot find it on my Facebook, or not my Facebook, sorry. I can't find it on my Pinterest, where I usually get most of my ideas from, because there's so many out there. But like I did in the other ones, I usually like to credit the person who I got the idea from, and this one I have no idea. So this was a challenge, and it was ABC and 1, 2, 3. So I wrote, I love to read, because I love to read, and then I have my alphabet here, and then I have my numbers here. And I was just playing around with the colors in the background and the ink dripping, and I love how this one turned out. I really like the colors, and it was fun to do, so I really like this one. Then this one here, I totally recreated it, and so did my girlfriend. Her and I saw this page. We both loved it. We both did it together at the same time. And this one was Mental Health Week, Be Bold and Be Bright. So this one, I got the idea from Afia, and she got it from Marta. What's her? Small Art, I think her name is. But I got it from Afia, and I did pin this one. But the only thing I noticed the reason I loved her so much was I loved everything. I loved the colors, but I had the exact same washi tape she had, so I'm like, oh, I want to use it that way. But when I started playing and adding the black around it, I ended up, I think, taking too much deep color on to the washi tape, and it doesn't pop out as much. But this one was fun to do too. I like this one. This one, I really, really hate this one. But this is another page where we were playing with our gel plates, jelly plates, and this was the cleaning off side. Like, we cleaned the jelly plate on these pages, and I'm like, oh, I'll just put a stencil and do this, and it's like, yeah, I really do not like this at all. I should have just covered up with something else. But this is the page that we were working on the jelly plate. My girlfriend Deborah and I were doing it. We watched a video. I can't remember who she is. And she had so many layers and so many layers. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know about this jelly plate playing with. This seems like a lot of work to me. But I love the results. I love how this turned out. This one, it turned out okay, but not as well as this one. But it works with the saying. I wrote, a strong person is one who can build a foundation with the bricks that were thrown at them. So here's the foundation, and here's the bricks that didn't turn out too well. So kind of goes with the saying. But was this, oh, I think the challenge was just to use your jelly plate. And this one was a collage background, watercolor, and writing. So I did my collage background, and then this was a napkin, and as I'm looking at it, the napkin was very, very bright, but I added a couple layers of the cupcake on it, and it wasn't bright. It was darker and darker, so I added the white gel pen around it, but still, I'm thinking I should have added a lot more detail to make it pop up a little bit more. So that is this one, and then this one is one of my favorites. This is like my tribute to Prince, because I loved his music growing up. But this one was Rain, Rain, Go Away. And because I already did that one with the umbrella, oh, however many years ago that one was, nope, I think I'm going the wrong way. Well, it doesn't matter. Anyways, I didn't want to do one similar to that with somebody holding an umbrella or whatever. So instead of Rain, Rain, Go Away, I wrote the lyrics of Purple Rain, part of the lyrics of Purple Rain, down here, and she's dancing in the rain. And I love this one. I seem to like the ones where they have the silhouettes. I have some of them in my new art journal page too. And then this is actually my last page I ever did in here, and this one is actually my first one. So these are the only two that are actually in order. And again, I think I recreated this from somebody else's art journal page. I just really liked how it turned out, and I've searched and searched and searched for it, and I can't find it. So I don't know who it was. I can't give credit to the person who did it. And even if I see it on a Facebook group, I'll screen cap my phone so it has the person's name above it, but so I can credit them. But I can't even find it in my photos, so I have no idea where I got this idea from. And I wrote a poem about spring, and I was going to put it in here, but I'm like, no, I think it might take away from the overall look of it. And I love this page. And the challenge for this one was calm. So that is the last page in my book. And I know this is a very long video. I apologize. It's going to take me 10 days to edit it. But anyway, I just wanted to share with you my art journal page, and I'll try and share them more as I go along this year. So I would just like to thank everybody. If you stuck by me through this whole video, thank you so much, and thank you so much for watching. And I hope you're all safe, and I hope you're all well, and I would love if you gave this a thumbs up or left me a comment and telling me if you liked to art journal, which pages were your favorite. So anyway, thanks again everybody for watching, and I hope you all have a very creative day today. Bye now.